Welcome to Feng Shui Living, the podcast designed for busy women who want to de-stress, live with intention, and create a home that truly supports their well-being. Each week, I'll bring you practical tips, insightful ideas, and simple strategies to enhance both your home and your life. Let's get started. If you love this podcast and you're ready to go deeper into this work, my book, Aligned at Home, is designed to help you start shifting your space right away with simple, approachable guidance. And for those of you who like something maybe a little more hands-on, the Aligned at Home workbook gives you prompts, exercises, and checklists to actually walk through your home and make some changes. You can snag links for both the Aligned at Home book and workbook in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Feng Shui Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Morton, and first things first, I have to announce I'm so excited that the Aligned Sanctuary Retreat is already sold out. I think we sold out in 3 weeks. All 8 spots were taken. If you didn't get a chance to apply, here's the thing. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes something comes up in life and someone's not able to make it. So I'm taking more applications. You can still go to the website, to the retreat tab, and sign up and apply for the Aligned Sanctuary Retreat for September 2026. And should someone not be able to make it, I'm going to go through that list of backups. So you might get in that way. I also started to think about the next one. And if you sign up and are on, if you have applied for this retreat, you will get first dibs at the next retreat. It might be spring 2027, maybe, possibly, perhaps. So very, very, very excited to announce that it is full. We have our people. You know, it's so fun to see just how these things come together. I had a rough idea of maybe a few people who would apply, a few people who would want to come, but I didn't know how it would actually turn out. And it's so fun in the end. It's always just the right people with the right approach, the right interests. It's just the perfect collection of people. And can't wait. Counting down the days. My next big hurdle is catering. So I'm not a foodie, so I need to get some help for that. But today is an episode that I've had in my file. I've had some notes written down for a while, and I just keep putting it back in the file. And I pulled it out the other day, and I felt like it's really time to record it. And it's how virtual work actually works. You know, I get this question so often. And honestly, I love it because it says people are curious. They're open and they want to learn more. And that question is, Lisa, how can you help me if you've never been inside my home? Now, I completely understand why that feels like a reasonable question. So today I want to kind of pull back the curtain into my work, and I want to walk you through exactly how virtual work actually works and why, in many cases, it works just as well, if not better, than an in-person visit. So I thought I would share a story about a client, a woman I worked with in Savannah, Georgia, beautiful city. She reached out to me, this woman from Savannah, and she lived alone in a house. And before we even really got into things on our call, we were on a Zoom call, but I could already see something. I was looking at her home, looking at the floor plan and the photos that she had sent me. And also just looking at the energy of what was behind her during that Zoom call. Now, I'm not judging. That's not what I'm doing. But there was a pattern that I'd seen before, looking at everything, taking it all in. And this pattern, it was telling me a story about her finances. Now, during this call, we talked for probably 25 minutes, and she had not said a word about money, nothing. And yet I felt like I gently just had to mention something. And so I said that one of the things that I was hoping to work on was her financial situation. That was a goal that I would like to work on with her. And she just looked at me with this expression like, how did you know that? So she actually was like, please tell me more. So I walked her through what I was seeing in her space and what I suspected might be happening in her life. And I was right and she was blown away. And this is what I mean when I talk about your home telling a story. Every single room, every corner, the way things are arranged, items that feel light, items that feel heavy, what's present, what's missing, right? It's all speaking. It's all saying something. And you just have to know how to listen. And after 25 years of working in home interiors, I've figured out how to listen very, very well. So I thought I would explain exactly what happens when I work with someone virtually. So when a client comes to me remotely, I always ask for a few things. This could be a floor plan. This could be the builder drawings if you have them, or even if a hand sketch can work. Photos. If it's recently sold, I might ask for a link to the real estate listing just because there's going to be photos on there, some exterior information. I might go to Google Maps. Again, lots of photos, maybe a video walkthrough even. And what most people don't realize is just how much information these materials have. You think it's a quick photo, but I can see a lot going on. A floor plan shows me the flow of the space, how energy is moving, how you might be moving throughout the space, where energy might get stuck, where energy might feel high, where it might feel low, where the door is positioned, and if that might be deflecting any opportunities coming in or welcoming and bringing them in. I can see if a bedroom is too close to an active area or sometimes above a gym workout room. This tells me a lot if you're struggling with sleep. I can notice if a home office is tucked in a back dead-end corner and how that might be affecting your career and your momentum. And photos, they tell a lot. I'm looking at proportion. I'm looking at lighting, at color, at the imagery. What are you looking at on the walls? What's on the shelves? What's cluttered? What's clear? What feels heavy? And you can look at a space and feel if it's breathing life or if it's holding its breath. And here's the thing. I've been doing this long enough that a 10-second look at someone's home, can tell me a tremendous amount. And not because I'm guessing, but because I've spent so long developing pattern recognition, right? I know what a home looks like when an owner's thriving or the occupants are thriving. And I know what a home looks like when something is off financially, emotionally, physically. Now, to you, it might be the most subtle thing, but I can just recognize it in a second. It's really, I was thinking it's not too different from if you go to a doctor and get x-rays. We're just, our dog, oh my gosh, he tore his ACL. And so we're like talking to doctors and talking about x-rays and everything. And I was thinking about this, like I look at an x-ray, I see nothing. I see blobs of black and white. But the doctor, he looks at it and instantly says, okay, here's what's going on here. There's something here. And that's kind of how I can see your home, your floor plan, and in the photos and videos. I can read it just differently. Now, there's another part of my virtual work that I want to talk about, and this one tends to probably spark the most curiosity and honestly, the most questions. So let's get into it. It's called a distance or remote space clearing. So a space clearing is essentially what it sounds like. It's working to clear energetic residue that just accumulates in your home over time. In fact, my friend Christina calls it energetic cobwebs, which I really like. So think about it this way. If you've ever walked into a room after there's an argument and you can feel a sense of heaviness in the air, or maybe you've walked into a home and immediately just felt calm and peaceful without even knowing why. You might have that friend, you walk into their home and they offer you a cup of tea and you just settle into the sofa and feel so relaxed and so at home. It's really interesting. Spaces hold energy. And when you start noticing this, you'll also notice when energy needs to be shifted. And that's what I'm doing. So what I do is I remotely connect with the space intentionally with focus and work to move and to release and to reset the energy. My clients often report feeling a noticeable shift afterwards. Things feel lighter, colors feel brighter, lines look sharper. I actually have had multiple clients say, gosh, it feels like the cleaning crew was just here and they cleaned my house top to bottom and it feels so sparkly and light. It's almost like a sense of relief that they didn't even know that they needed. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lisa, but how? And how does this work if you're not physically there? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Concept in quantum physics that's called quantum entanglement. And what it essentially tells us is that energy, so particles and matter, can be connected across distance. Once two things are entangled, what happens to one affects the other, regardless of how far apart they are. Now, Einstein actually called this spooky action at a distance, and yet it's been observed. It is real. It is a thing. And this is how my work works. Now, I'm not a physicist. I am a Feng Shui teacher and an interior designer. But what I will tell you is that my work is grounded in the same fundamental idea that energy is not confined to a specific location, to just you in your home. It moves, it connects, and it can be influenced from a distance. Now, I'll share with you a story that still gives me the chills a little bit, but it's fun too when I think about it. Not too long ago, I had a client move into a new home and she sent me the real estate listing and she sent me a couple photos of their bedroom. And I was going to do a remote clearing. Now, I can go deeper in another episode about the actual clearing, but it's removing the energetic cobwebs, but then there's much more that happens. I'm infusing the home with specific energy going forward. So, we always talk and if you fill out paperwork, we talk through what you want going forward, right? So it's a cleansing, reset, but also infusing the space with beautiful things. So we were talking about that and preparing for the clearing. And so I would go to do the clearing. And I'll tell you, I had not seen a photo of their foyer. I saw it in the real estate listing with the previous homeowner's items in the listing. And what was something that was really specific is I put this in my report to her. I said something like, I keep getting this sense or this image of a gong at your front door, like a big gong at the front door. And what does this mean? Is this symbolic? Do you dream of having a gong at your front door? What does this mean? I'm just asking in the report. And they couldn't believe it. They actually said, Lisa, we have a gong at our front door. We moved it. We put it right at the front door. Now, I'm not sharing that to impress everyone. I just want to illustrate something important: intuitive gifts. Yes, I have developed over the years really intuitive sensitivity. I actually think I was very much like this as a child, but then you grow up and you're told to put a lid on that and turn that off. So it was much later as an adult that I started to notice these intuitive gifts that go beyond what I can just see on a floor plan or in a photo. And that's part of what makes this work so layered, and why I believe and I know that remote work can be as powerful or even more powerful. I know I can do a deeper cleansing and reset of your space working remotely than even if I was in person. I know it's more powerful. I'm able to sit in meditation in my office prior to the space clearing. I'm able to just go deeper being in my quiet, comfortable, familiar space. So here's the thing. If you've ever thought, I'd love to work with Lisa, but I'm not local, I want you to know that location has never been a barrier. I get to work with clients all over the world, and the work is just as real and meaningful and just as effective remotely as it is anytime I'm able to work with someone in person. So remember that your home is speaking right now. It's telling a story about your life, your health, maybe your finances, maybe your relationships. And the question is really, is anyone listening closely to hear it? And that's what I do. And that's what I'd love to do for you. I hope this episode has given you a little insight into how some of this remote work actually works. So with that, I want to thank you for being here with me today. And I will see you next Wednesday. If you want to ask some questions, pop over to my website. You can sign up for a free 15-minute discovery call over there, and I'd love to chat with you. All right, friends, see you next week. Take care. Special thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. For more information, head over to the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time.